In today's episode, I'm going to be going over Season 1, Episode 5 of Sex and the City in my series called You Can Sew That. This is the series where I show you sewing patterns where you can recreate iconic outfits from hit TV shows and movies, and of course, I started the series off with Sex and the City. If you want to see the other episodes, click in the description below and I have the playlist tag there. Alright, let's dive into Episode 5. This episode starts off with Carrie and Samantha waiting for a table and waiting to be seated at the hot new restaurant called Balzac. While they're waiting at the bar for their table, we see Samantha in a skirt suit set and we see Carrie in a slip dress. So let's get started with Samantha's skirt suit first. So some of the key things that I was looking out for in this particular skirt suit set is the notch collar. And I found this pattern, it's David Warren and Butterick 3778. Where it has the notch collar, it's got that fitted jacket. The only difference is that the sleeves are 3/4 length, so that would be the only thing you'd have to change with this pattern is just lengthening the sleeves. It also does come with the skirt. Maybe you want to fit it a little bit tighter just to get that exact look that Samantha is wearing. Now let's move on to Carrie. Carrie's wearing yet another one of these jersey kind of slip dresses. She's worn it in one of the episodes already in season 1 in a different color. I think it was black. This one looks like it's navy. I had a different pattern for that black one, but I actually found this new look pattern that I think might fit a little bit better to what she's wearing. I think this new look pattern 6061 in View B is a better match than that first pattern that I showed. You get that kind of scoop, the spaghetti straps, and that more straight fit that Carrie's dress has. Moving on to Carrie and Samantha now outside of the restaurant. They have given up waiting for their table. And this is just the outerwear that they're wearing over their dresses or the skirt suit that Samantha had. So let's start with Samantha's look first. She has this, I think this is more reminiscent of the 80s. I have a lot of 80s sewing patterns and I recognize this immediately. I think this new look pattern 6938 matches Samantha's coat pretty well. It's got the long lapels, the drapiness, the flowiness, the pleats up at the shoulders, the shoulder pads. I think it does the whole look that Samantha's coat has here. And then for Carrie's look, she's worn this all throughout season 1, I think in almost every single episode so far. So I've talked about this a lot and I'll mention it just really quickly again. But I think this Vogue pattern 2386, when she's got her jacket all buttoned up, it looks pretty close to that Calvin Klein Vogue pattern. And I actually do have this pattern available in my shop, Sewing Patterns to Go. Next outfit I'm going to cover is Carrie's poker night outfit with the girls. She's wearing a structured tube top and either Bermuda shorts or capris. She's seated, so when she's seated it kind of looks like Bermuda shorts, but maybe when she stands it shifts down a little bit and it's capris. So really up to you how you want to make the bottoms for this outfit, but I did find a Vogue pattern that has both a tube top and capris in it, and that is Vogue 7234. Like I said, this one does come with the capris, so if you feel like her look is a little bit more Bermuda shorts, you can just shorten them a little bit. I'm not really going to cover the rest of the girls around the poker table. It's all just more casual clothes. So let's move on to another scene in the episode. Carrie is out for the night with her friend Amelita Amalfi. I think that's what they call her in this episode. And she meets this French architect who she later goes on a date with. But as she's meeting him, as they're chatting and walking, you get a little bit of a better view of her outfit. So she is wearing that gray jacket that I was just mentioning earlier in this episode. And it's paired with this fairly simple A-line dress. I really feel like the fabric is everything for this look. This is somewhat of an easier pattern to find. Very basic kind of bodice. I think the fabric, because it is a slinkier, it kind of does like this almost tiny little cowl in the neck. But I think finding an actual cowl neck pattern is just, most of them droop down a little bit too much. So I think the simplicity pattern S8874 in View D gives you that whole entire look. And then you can use View C just to lengthen the dress a little bit more. Next outfit I'm going to feature is maybe not the sexiest of them all on Sex and the City, but it is Carrie's muumuu. The muumuu she has, I found a pattern from McCall's from the 80s. So you've got that kind of V-neck and that drapes into that really flowiness and fullness of the nightgown, and then there is the ruffle. So found all of that in this pattern from McCall's 3155. Now we're still in the same scene. When Carrie was in her nightgown, she was consoling Skipper about some Miranda drama. Now Carrie is still within that scene, but she's changed into a more casual look, and she has this fitted skirt that looks like it is elastic and not a zip up. So I found this pattern, 6084, that I think has that elastic waist, has that similar fit as Carrie's skirt. Now Carrie is out on her date with the French architect, and she's wearing this really fun, colorful outfit that I thought was a dress under that red trench coat, but is actually a two-piece set. I learned that someone made a video that it was a Turkish designer that was featured. I think it was Rifat Özbek, but I may be saying that wrong. So it is in fact a two-piece set. It is the tank top and the skirt. The red trench coat I did cover in the other episode, and I'm just going to link the picture really quick here because I cannot remember the exact name of the pattern and the number. So I'm just gonna put it here really quick. And then she's got that fun little bow with it. But in terms of the skirt and the tank top, I think Simplicity 9671 works for the top. Now I tried to search this top and see what the actual top was designed like, but once I was looking up the runway looks, I couldn't see. It was all covered up with another sort of jacket. Carrie has it covered up with a jacket, so I'm just assuming it kind of turns into a spaghetti strap situation, and that's why I chose that pattern. And then for the skirt, I found this pencil skirt from McCall's. It is M8051, and there is a longer version for that pencil skirt. I think she's got obviously kind of like a little bit of a lining that's peeking through underneath. So this really all comes down to finding a fun fabric that you can get to recreate this look. For this next outfit, Charlotte is off to Connecticut to visit an artist's estate to view his latest collection, and she shows up in a very cute professional red skirt suit set. Now the pattern I found for this also has a red skirt suit set featured as the illustration, and that is McCall's 7989, and this has the A-line skirt and that fitted jacket. I would just not make the top that this pattern comes with. It looks like Charlotte is wearing maybe just a little camisole underneath. Carrie is back with Samantha, and she's wearing this bodycon ruche dress with spaghetti straps. I do think the fabric is playing into this dress looking a little bit more ruched, but for simplicity's sake, I just found a ruched pattern, and this is Vogue 9323. It would need to be lengthened down more to the knee to get that full effect that Carrie has. It looks like hers goes significantly lower than this dress, and then obviously just taking off that extra skirt portions. And as for Samantha's, I'm switching it up here a little bit because I found a knitting pattern. I feel like there's got to be some crossover of sewists who also like to knit. I like to dabble in it sometimes as well. But this knitwear pattern is from Mung Bean Patterns, and it is the Darlene top. So you get that fold over with the sweater and that really tight fit as well that Samantha has. Now we're in Charlotte's gallery, and I'm really just going to focus on Charlotte's look here because I feel like the neckline is so unique and beautiful. It was a bit challenging to find this in a dress form, so I found it as two separate patterns that you could just combine together as maybe two separate pieces, or quite literally just attach them together and make the actual dress. So for the top, I found this pattern off of Etsy. It is the Lana top from Bugra Patterns, and it has that really beautiful kind of wide scooped neckline and the cap sleeves. There is a little bit of extra structure, I think, kind of going on in there. I mean, maybe that is also happening with Charlotte's dress. It's a little harder to tell because she's got that kind of deep gray. And then the skirt was a little challenging, but I think I'm actually going to use the pattern that I found earlier in this episode, which is McCall's M8051 in View E. So I think you can either, like I said, make the two separate pieces or just combine them together and make that dress. Those were all the outfits from season 5. Like I said, the playlist is below if you want to check out the other episodes, and subscribe if you're interested in following along with the series. See you all in the next episode.